for yesterday's class.
Okay.
I hope yesterday we have discussed about relations and delete actions and the basic form creation, how to create a new form by using simple list. Okay, so we have already talked about relations. That is, we have the relations. Sorry, delete actions. The delete actions are while we are deleting a record in the main table. So we will be using this delete action to maintain the data consistency. Okay, there are cascade and cascade and restricted and cascade plus restricted delete actions that we have already talked about it. I think so you are good with that. The next one is we have spoken about forms. How what is form? Form is a user interface. Whatever the tables we are creating, that will be added into a form, so that from the UI always the user will be open the data in the form level and he will enter the data in the form. Okay, so forms are the user interface objects. Okay, then we have seen how to create that forms actually. So whatever the table we have created, by using the table, we have added the table into form and we have built the form and we have designed it using the simple list pattern. And whatever the design we have done, we can see here in the preview. So you can see this is how we will get the form, the UI. We'll have the filter and you can see here whatever the fields we have added. And if you select that field, automatically it will take the control to that field. If I select gender, it will automatically help in that gender. This is how the forms preview. In pattern we have already seen. Once you select the apply the pattern in the design, so the pattern is nothing but it's kind of format. So if you select the simple list format is this is the format. You cannot go beyond that format. It's fixed actually. So you have to take the action plan, you have to take the group, and you have to take the group and the grid also. And this is how we have to take that required controls. Design level, we'll deal with the controls always. We'll have the number of controls based on our need. We'll take the controls. Okay, so controls in the sense it will be like whatever the data types we have. For all the data types, we will have the respective controls. Other than that, we'll have the some more controls also. Okay, if you take string, we'll have the string control. If you have integer control, we'll have real control, date and time control. If you want to see them, in 64 we have, and date we have, date and time we have. Similarly, for all the data types, we will have the controls, and other than that, we will have the other controls also. Grid control, group control, we are already using in this design. Okay, so buttons actually we have button group, menu item button. Okay, there are some new controls which has been added here. Power BI controls. They are new concepts actually. Okay, so that is all about the controls. So then once we did this, we have built it and we have opened the form from the Visual Studio. Okay, if we want to add this form to UI, to open from the UI, what do we have to do? Let us discuss about the menu items. The user interface, we have a concept called menu items. So what is menu item? Okay, so menu items are the kind of objects. Whatever the forms we'd like to open from UI, so through menu items we can open the form. So directly I cannot add the form into UI. UI in the sense from the user point of view, like in the browser. In the browser, we'll go to accounts receivables module, and there we'll open the customers, right? All customers or all vendors or whatever the form we are opening. That is the place, the user interface, where we are opening the all customers or all vendors or customer group, all the user interface forms. So if you want to see your form there, so we cannot add the form directly over there. We have to add using the menu items. So whatever the form I have created, I have to add to menu item. That menu item can be added to the UI into menus. We call it as menus. Okay, let me show you. Like we have three types of menu items. One is display, the other one is output, third one is action. Display menu item is we'll use it for the forms. Output menu item, we'll use it for the reports. Action menu item is for classes and for other remaining objects. Okay. So in our case, I would like to create for form. So I need to create the display menu item. Go to your project and add a new item. Here is user interface. Go to user interface, select your display menu item. So I'm giving the display menu item is STUD table. What is the reason we are they have given this option through menu item? Because forms cannot be added directly. And one more reason is, if you go to your form, the form properties, you cannot set all the required parameters on the form because you will not have anything here. Only you will have the form template and all those things only. But if you want to set the form label, UI, where you are opening from the UI, there if you want to set the form label, you will not have. You want to set the configuration keys, security keys. Okay, just now I have created the display menu item. Once you go to display menu item properties, you will see a lot of things here. You can set the label, and you can set the image, and you can set the related to the behavior, and you can set the related to the data. Okay, related to the permissions you can set. Configuration key you can set. Okay, and related to the configuration keys, that means this is kind of feature, right? Feature in the sense when you let me show you on the UI. So when I go to UI, this is the user interface. Let me go to any of the module, maybe accounts receivables. So we call it as this is a feature. All customers are a feature, and if you take all sales orders are a kind of feature. Feature in the sense it's a usable feature in the application. So based on the need, if I want to disable this feature, so we have to set by using the configuration keys. We can do that. So that is where we can set all these configuration keys, all those things for the menu items. On the form properties, we cannot set that. It's kind of interface to bring the form properties and to bring the form to show on the UI. And set the configuration keys. There are so many things. Permissions you can create, parameters you can set. Okay. So once we create this display menu item, go to properties. The important thing what we have to set, object type. Object type is default, it is a form. So we have to only display menu. So here we have to select the object. What is our object? STUD table. Select the STUD table. Done. Then you just set the label. How you would like to show this feature on the user interface. I would like to have the student details. Okay. So save this. So my menu item has been created. Display menu item has been created. I have a table and have created a form. Then I have created a menu item display. So we have seen what is menu item display. Then how to create this? Why in the sense like actually because since we need to use that features from the UI to set all the configuration keys and all the labels and everything through menu item only we can do that. So directly we cannot use the form. So once you do this, then this menu item has to be added in the UI. In this case, where you would like to add, maybe if I want to add on the existing modules, or if you want to create a new module. Two things. If you want to add on existing in existing module, so we have to use the extensions concept. Or else if I want to create a new module, which I have already created, I can add into it. This is my module which I have created. I'm using it. Okay. If I go to my module, this is a different one. Right? Okay, and let me go to menus. We have seen form and we have seen menu items. Now we are going to see about menus. So it will be like this actually. So it will be like a kind of simple cycle. This one. So we'll create EDTs, enums, table, then form, then create menu item, then menus. So this is a kind of flow. It's kind of one simple flow from EDTs to show that form in the UI to enter the data. So for a table, first we'll create a table. For the table fields, we'll create the enums and base enums and EDTs. Okay, then that will be used into the table fields. Then once the table is ready, you will create a form. That table will be added into form as a data source. Once the form is ready, then we will create a menu item. Now we are into this menu item stage. Once your menu item is created, that will be added into the menus. Now I am going to add into menus. So I have already one of the module. I'm going to add into this module because this module is not in my model. My model is test model. This menu is this rentals menu is in TRG model. Okay, so in that case, what do? We have to create extension because I cannot go and directly modify in this model. I mean, in this menu. So not only here, actually everywhere, if you want to customize on the accounts receivables, for example, let me take accounts receivable. You want to add your menu item in this accounts receivable.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Okay.
right.
What? Pardon me? Okay. Uh, okay. When can I get my appointment?
Yes, start చేద్దామండి. Shall I continue? Vinod? Vinod? Vinod?
అన్నా చెప్పండి అన్నా.
ఏంది మనోడు బిజీగా ఉన్నాడా? ఐ మీన్ షాల్ వి స్టార్ట్ కంటిన్యూ అన్నా?
అదే అనుకుంటున్నాను అన్న. కంటిన్యూ చేద్దాం అంటే కంటిన్యూ చేద్దాం, లేదంటే వెయిట్ చేద్దాం అన్న. చేద్దాం ఒక 2 minutes వెయిట్ చేసి, లేదంటే కాల్ చేశాను నేను.
ఓకే, కాల్ చేసి చూడరా?
ఓకే అన్న. అన్న వస్తున్నారంటనా?
నేను అదే నాకు కొంచెం అర్జెంట్ కాల్ అది మా హాస్పిటల్ నుంచి.
నో ప్రాబ్లం అండి, నో ప్రాబ్లం, ఇట్స్ నాట్ ప్రాబ్లం. అయిపోయిందా?
అయిపోయింది. అండ్ వెయిట్ హైట్ అన్ని అడుగుతున్నారు. ఇది అమ్మ సర్లే చెప్తాను. ఓకే,
కంటిన్యూ అవుదామండి.
కానీ అండి నేను జస్ట్ 2 minutes బ్యాక్ డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయ్యాను.
Okay, fine, no problem. So let's continue. So once we have created the menu item, so we have to add that into menus. Menus are nothing but kind of modules. From user point of view, menus are module, because accounts receivables module and accounts payables module. If you see all the modules here, asset management, audit workbench, budgeting, cash and bank, all these things. Okay, I would like to add my feature into maybe accounts payables. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to accounts payables. Okay, if you want to build a new module, it's a new menu actually. That is not a problem. We can directly create it, because I would like to go and add in the standard module. It's a standard object. It's an application. So in that case, we have to create extension. So we cannot directly go into it. So this is where the new features came here in this D365. Create extension. You have to right click on it, click on create extension. So it will create an extension in your project. You see here, it's got created an extension. Accounts payables dot text test. Test is your model. Okay. So once this menu is created, open this menu. Okay, where you would like to add your menu item. What is your menu item? Student table. So take this wherever you would like to add into this. So it's got added here. It's got added into vendors folder. Okay. So what it is doing, it is showing the standard objects which is having into the menu. So we are not going to do any changes on it. We cannot do it. I cannot delete the standard objects here. I cannot modify on any one of them. I can only add on top of it. So if you see here, accounts payables dot test. I mean accounts payables test dot test. This is my extension. The base is application suite. So ours is test. Okay, base object is there in application suite. We have added test in extension. It's simple concept. Instead of touching the standard object, we simply create the extension. In the extension, whatever the changes we would like to do, we will add on top of it. That's it. We cannot go and delete the standard objects. We cannot modify the standard object. This is the main extension concept in terms of object wise. When you talk about coding part, we'll discuss later slowly. And even tables, EDTs, for every object we have extensions. We'll discuss. So this one is completed now. Save this. Build your project. Okay. Go to UI and go to accounts payable and see in the vendors folder. We can able to see that. Let this build is completed, then we will see that. Okay. So now we have seen the simple one of the cycle from EDTs to menus. That is showing one table by creating a form in the UI. Okay. So generally, as a new guy coming, so he'll start creating EDTs based on tables. So then what is the purpose? Like table I have created. So I can show the data I can create the data in the form level. I can, do operations on the form level, creating records, deleting records, modifying records. All those, operations we can do on the form level. That means form is nothing but which is taking the table in the form only. So the data will be always get through table. And finally, to open the form from the UI, so we'll add the menu items and menus. That's it. So once it is build is completed, go to UI and refresh your page. Yeah, no, it's not refreshing. Yeah, now it is refreshing. You can see here. So now let me go to accounts payables modules, accounts payables. So if you go to your vendors folder, so you can see your student details because the label I have given as a student details on the menu item properties. So now if I open student details, I can able to open my form. Since data is there in the table level, I'm getting the data. So now I can create the new record and delete the record, edit the record. So I can do my operations. You can see the path also from where I have opened this form. Okay.
Okay.
Any doubts still now?
Yeah, it's okay. Okay.
So this is how we have seen the simple the life by a small cycle of from tables to creating the form and adding into UI. Next one. So even here we have used one of the concept called extensions. Okay, basic level. We will see that we'll discuss more about it from the in other sessions. Actually. So now let me talk about other concept called views. The data model, we have a concept called views. The views is nothing but this is one of the object which can be used mainly for the read-only data. So whenever you would like to create a form or if you want to show the data to the end user, so he has to see only the data. He don't want to do any other operations. Okay. So and parallelly, if you want to build a view with multiple tables like 2-3 tables or 3-4 tables or more than one table, with setting up with joins and to create a kind of view that can be used in the forms or reports or anywhere. So we can create a view that is also read only. Whatever you do by creating a view, that is only for read only, cannot be used any other operations. So let us see how to create a view. Go to add an item in the project, new item, select data model and create a view. Okay. Setting up student details view. So once I have created this view, you can see inside the view, you can see some of the nodes. View metadata, fields, field groups, indexes, relations all as like table. And here, we'll add our data source into view metadata. You can see the data source here. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to my student table and I'll drag and drop it on here. Directly I cannot drag and drop. Oh, it's okay. So if you drag and drop the student table, it will be added as a data source. Okay. So if data source is ready now. So what I can do, whatever the fields is required for me to show on the UI, that fields I'll add into view field. As like in the form data source we'll have required fields we'll add into the design, right? Similarly here, whatever the fields are required for me, I'll add those fields into view. So I need only just 2 fields. For example, I'll add DOT. Okay, 3 fields I have added. So my view is ready. Okay, other fields are not mandatory. Your view is ready. Save your view and you can add this view into your form level and you can build a form. or else you can use this view in the queries. You can write a query on the view. Okay. If you want to join with multiple tables, so you just go to view, because go inside the student data source. We have because I have one more child table called student marks. Take the student marks and add it here. Go inside the student marks and add the relation. Click add new relation. Go to relation properties. Because we don't have to set anything, because it is there already inside the data source. Both places student ID. Select this one. And related field. Done. It's created. This data weight table we have to set the data weight table also. Sorry. Join data source we have to set. What is the join data source here? Student table, because you are setting up in student marks, right? There may be, see, in this case we have only the parent table is only student table. If I go inside and if I create one more data source, you will have upper two data sources, right? So generally when you create this relation, you have to set your join data source and student table. Then here related field is student table. Student table dot student ID equal to student marks dot student ID. Yes, sir. Opposite way, sir. Okay. It's fine. The relation is with the student table. So we will create the join with the student, the parent table and child table. And once this is ready, from the second data source also, whatever the required field, you can add into the same fields actually in the view fields. Maybe I may need like student, like marks data, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and total. So I'm taking this field, I'm adding. So these first 3 fields are from student table, and the remaining 4 fields are from student marks. Join. And then in the student mark properties, you can set the joins also. And use relations, join mode. We have the inner join, outer join, exist join, not exist join. So default is inner join. We'll discuss later about the joins. Default join is inner join, which will show the matching records from both tables. So your view is ready now. Okay, this can be added into your form level as a data source, and you can use it. How we have created for the, for the student table form. Similarly, we can use it. So build your project, and I'll open the view directly from here, and I'll show you. Are you guys able to understand?
Yes. And another thing, when you create the menus in the account payable, account receivable, but already they existing some default items, correct? Microsoft default items.
Yeah, right.
In addition to that, we can add the menu items in the accounts payable or whatever maybe in the modules, correct?
That's what in user interface.
Okay.
The menu contains, as each menu will be a kind of module. Okay.
Okay.
Because what I'm going to do, whatever the form I have created, that form I have created a menu item. That menu item is nothing but kind of feature. Okay.
Okay.
That I would like to add into this module.
Okay.
So you cannot come and add directly into this because it's a standard one.
Okay. Already there is a standard ones, and we can add a little bit of customizations into that items, correct?
No, that's what I'm saying. In the standard objects, you cannot do any modifications on it.
Okay,
You have to create extensions.
Okay.
In earlier version in 2012, we were able to directly add into these objects.
Okay.
Any object I can modify. I can directly go and add a field into cust table. I can directly
Okay.
go into purchase table. But here we cannot do
Okay.
like that. You have to
Okay.
create extension. So it will be created as a separate extension for you. In that
Okay.
extension, we are going to add a kind of extension.
Okay. And another thing, you created
Yeah,
one customization module. It's a rental service, correct?
yeah. That is a new
Uh,
menu. I'll show you later.
yeah, yeah. I saw in 2012 because I worked on rental service in Wipro.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't understand that well at the time. Only a few items I know. They gave me the targets, only few items. I finished that one only.
Okay.
Rental and service management.
No,
It's a
it's not
customized modules.
standard module. For example, I have created a small module, and whatever the menu items I'm adding, I was just adding into that rentals module, and I'm showing it. It's not
Okay.
like a standard module. Just for example, I have created with the name of rentals. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So build is completed. So if I go to UI now, not UI, I have not added that view into UI or any menu items in that to any form. So I'm directly opening from here. I click on
Okay.
this, open into table browser. If I do that, it will automatically show in the UI. UI in the sense in the browser. But I'm not calling this one from UI. I'm calling from the backend from the Visual Studio. It's taking time.
Yes, okay. No problem. సునీల్ గారు ఇప్పుడు మార్ఫెక్స్ ఎక్స్ ప్లస్ ప్లస్ డాట్ నెట్ అండ్ అంటే ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడ స్పెసిఫిక్గా మనం దాన్ని యూజ్ చేస్తాం అనేది నాకు కొంచెం చెప్పగలరా?
Sure, and Morphex is not Morphex is nothing but it's a environment name actually. Morphex ID we call it that. Morphex ID is but whatever the in AX2012 we were doing our coding and we were using that environment, right? So that environment we were calling it as a Morphex ID.
Okay. Okay.
That is for X++ AX2012 X++ environment.
Okay. And a development environment, test environment, that one?
Yeah, exactly. Development environment.
Okay.
Okay. When it comes to the .NET, actually, in .NET, we call it as a IDE, Integrated Development Environment.
Okay.
IDE is nothing but it's a general, AX IDE or Visual Studio IDE, .NET and C# IDE, we call it as C# IDE. What else you are asking?
అంటే
Morphex and
నాకు ఎట్లా యూజ్ చేస్తారు దాన్ని మనకి ఇక్కడ అంటే ఏఎక్స్లో వాట్ ఈస్ ద పర్పస్ ఇప్పుడు డాట్ నెట్ తెలుసా అంటారు మార్ఫెక్స్ తెలుసా ఎక్స్ ప్లస్ ప్లస్ తెలుసా
especially we are not going to, it's not kind of concept to go and use it. This is a just name for that environment.
Okay.
So for AX2012, whatever the coding area and development area we are calling it, it's a Morphex ID, Morphex Integrated Development Environment.
Okay, that environment is called Morphex, correct?
Yeah.
And the coding is the X++.
Exactly.
Okay, and .NET is base for that coding.
For AX2012, .NET is not base, but here for D365, .NET is base.
Yeah, for even it is a D365, .NET is the base. .NET platform. On .NET platform, we will build the X++ coding, correct?
No, .NET platform, .NET is we are using, actually the application uses .NET framework, but coding we are doing X++ only.
I didn't get your point.
See, one thing. Whatever the code we are writing, that's coding language is X++.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Simple, right? You understood, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the this one .NET, what does the mean of .NET? .NET framework.
What
When
is
you
the
read,
use in a D365.NET? Do you know the .NET? They will ask the intro questions.
it's not telling you.
What,
You are
what is
using Studio,
yeah.
right? What is Visual Studio? Visual Studio in this sense, the Visual Studio, all the languages will run on the .NET framework.
Okay, Visual Studio will run on the .NET framework.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the purpose of Visual Studio?
Visual Studio is the place where you will write your programming languages. You will do your programming, C# or ASP.NET or whatever you like.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but in this case, we are using for the X++ for our AX.
Okay.
So the base is Visual Studio. .NET
Okay.
framework. Okay. So on top of it, we can use multiple languages.
Okay. .NET is the base on the Visual Studio. Who can use any multiple languages like X++, C# whatever maybe.
Yeah, related to whichever is supporting languages. Here it is supporting
Yes.
C#. Can you see here? When I'm trying to go and create a project, you can see all the languages here.
Okay.
C#, C++, and Visual F#, Dynamics 365, JavaScript, and TypeScript, other things actually. So we are selecting Dynamics 365, which has been included in this framework. Earlier it was not there. In 2012, they have included here, and here only we are creating our project, and we are doing our X++ coding, and we are creating our development objects and everything here only. The core framework is .NET. Okay. So in earlier version in AX 2012, we were not even touching the .NET framework. I mean, in terms of Visual Studio, we were directly opening the AX application. There itself, we are doing our development.
Okay.
They have embedded with .NET now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So there is no data. That's why it's not popping up the data in the UI. Okay. So if I create some data, it will get the data, because when you see here, it's not getting any data for view. 20 marks. Yes. This is the view. It's not showing any data, because in student marks, in the student table, there is no matching records. Create. So here we have 3002, 3004. Okay. When I go here and see, we have only 3003. Let me change this and do it with 3002. It will not get no 3003. Let me create 3003 here. And do present. I'll make this one as 3003. And save this. You go here and refresh this. Now you will see the data. You see now? The matching record is only 3003. I can't do anything. I cannot remove, and I cannot delete, and I cannot create a new record, because it's a view. I'm running from the Visual Studio. I'm not running from the UI. This is a view. You cannot change anything actually. View. Okay. These views can be used in the form level. Okay, based on our need, and parallelly we can add multiple tables, and we can create a view. Whichever the required field we want, we can add it into view. That is the advantage we have. And we can write queries on the view. Select queries. Okay. So I think so. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, it's okay now.
And if you guys are good, then I'll end up the session for today.
Okay, and Bob, Lakshman also they send a message. He is
Usually
explaining me.
and try it out program. Minimum 2015 is required. 2015 version. Another Visual Studio is like a notebook. Before 2015 version, D365 and Application Explorer was not linked with Visual Studio. Yeah, that is true. And database we use in SQL. Yeah, that is true.
Okay, okay.
If we were using
Okay.
this from 2015 only, they have added D365 menu in this Visual Studio because the supportability is from we don't have to least bother about all these things. Generally, when you get into this Microsoft VM, so we are not going to install all Visual Studios and AX and all those things. Everything pre-installed VMs are available now. That installation concept has been removed. When you go to your Visual Studio, okay, you can see it's there already. So when you go to projects and create a new project, you can see your Dynamics 365 project and you can select. But in terms of concept wise, that is true. From 2015, they have introduced this in the D365.
Okay.
Because earlier the versions are different, right? We were not working on this.
Okay.
Yeah. The database is Microsoft SQL Server we are using. Of course, you know, it's only supported Microsoft SQL Server. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Then. Any doubts?
Okay.